Greetings, everybody. Um, Today I've come to make what might be a very unpopular video. Um, I'm prepared for that. I'm going to make a few videos on a subject which I have mixed feelings about, and I'd like to open discourse and discussion because I really feel like I have more to understand and more to know about this subject. And that is the subject of non-binary people, trans people. So I'm just going to start probably about a 3 video series of, one's going to be this one, which a lot of people probably aren't going to like, and I don't really care about that too much. I just want to kind of say what I have to say. This might be the most negative video I ever make. Sorry, but I feel strongly about this issue after having done quite a bit of research, but I still have a lot to know. The other one will be just some questions I have, and the other one will be just some thoughts I have. Again, I really hope to foment actual discussion and real debate and a real discourse on this subject, because obviously it's something a lot of people are talking about. Obviously it's something that people have strong feelings about, so we should get it out there. We should say what we have to say, and hopefully we can come to a good consensus as a society, as a country, about what this means and what should be done or shouldn't be done. So that being said, there's a term floating around the interwebs and YouTube, and again, it's a silly term, but I feel it's kind of apropos when talking about the discussion of non-binary and or transsexual, transgender people, and that's the term transtrender. Now, this is going to get me a lot of trouble because I am very obviously cis, hetero, white, male. So a lot of people will probably summarily dismiss this as transphobic. And go ahead and do that. If you don't want to listen to what I have to say, you don't have to. It's America. You have that right. But I also have the right to express my opinion, and so I'm going to do so here. So to transtrenders out there, that's the term, right? Transtrender. I will say, I was going to say fuck you, transtrenders. That may be a little bit harsh. But really, I feel that the transtrender, and I don't know if you go to Urban Dictionary or anything like that, if there's an actual definition there. But basically, it would be a person who jumps on the bandwagon. I'm not sure why you'd want to jump on the bandwagon of a type of person that has a difficult lot in life and who has legitimate, trouble reconciling the way they're born with the way they think and feel in terms of their body and mind. But I guess people do it. And other terms have been thrown around, like oppression points and things like that. Again, I don't know why you'd want to align yourself purposely as your identity with a type of person that's oppressed or that has a difficult time in life. You want to make things harder for yourself? I don't really understand that. But in today's socio-political climate, it seems a lot of people do that. I think if you asked an actual marginalized person about that sort of behavior, they would probably tell you it's insane. Or maybe they wouldn't. I don't know. I don't know everything, certainly. Probably I don't know very much. But so the transtrender, I will tell you this. I accept non-binarism, if that's a thing. But I accept, I accept and believe in the existence of non-binary people. I accept and believe in and support the rights of everybody in this country to express themselves however they want, especially when there's not choice involved. People don't get to choose their skin color. They don't get to choose their sexual orientation, I believe. And a large amount of us don't get to choose our religions. Sure, we can switch them, but that's a story for another day. Anyway, the transtrender is going to be a person who considers themselves trans, but by the definition of trans, they're really not. And I think that a lot of them are, well, I'll just go ahead and say it, kind of loudmouth, almost like people who want to socially strong arm you by pointing fingers. I'm going to be the cis male I'll get my finger, they'll get many fingers pointed at me for being that. I'm obviously transphobic by making this video, right? It's bollocks, but it's gonna happen. But here's the thing. They do a gross disservice, I think, to the actual transsexual community, actual transgender community, because a lot of them are the voices that you hear, and I think a lot of them aren't really representative of actual people who want to transition their gender, which is where the term comes from, right? You got to think about that, use the old noggin a little bit. We talk about things like gender dysphoria, and this is an actual question I have because I don't really know. I'm not a clinician. I'm not a clinical psychologist, and the term seems to be like a dysphoria is an extreme discomfort or thinking extreme discomfort with something. So the clinical definition of gender dysphoria basically is that you have an extreme discomfort based on your gender. So basically, your heart and mind can't reconcile with your genitalia, basically. And that is a serious thing. It's a real thing, and it's something that's not to be taken lightly. So if a person is experiencing this gender dysphoria, and they feel so strongly about it, and it hurts them to such a degree that they feel it necessary to undergo hormone and other types of therapy to alleviate this dysphoria, and to feel like they truly are able to, enact with society and the world in the way that they want and identify themselves in the way that they want. I am all for that. 1,000,000 trillion billion %. I'm for that. Because I understand that, not everybody is the same, and our feelings, thoughts about ourselves and the way we are physically and the way we are mentally, etc., are not all the same. They're all different. But if you are not experiencing significant gender dysphoria and you are not actively seeking to undergo a transition, then you're not trans. And if you're just hopping on this bandwagon, I understand there's a lot of different types of gender expression. I like the term gender fluid. Some people say they're gray gender or a gender bender, or there's a lot of different terms for it, and I support them all. I honestly do. I think maybe some of them are kind of silly, but there are a lot of different expressions of gender, to be sure. And I'm fully for all of that, because a lot of people aren't comfortable in their own skin and the way they were born, and I'm all for that. But if you are jumping on this bandwagon and saying, I'm trans, I came out as trans, or, I'm trans this, I'm trans that, I've heard a lot of commentary, and I'm not going to name names because it's pointless to do that, but saying that, I started dressing differently and that alleviated my dysphoria. Okay. I'm not fully discounting that, but I'm thinking that your dysphoria was probably not too severe. And I don't know if dysphoria is incremental, because I'm not a psychologist and I haven't talked to any about this subject. But I would wager the average person who is actually trans, their dysphoria is continual and significant to the point where they want to have their sexual gender changed. They want to have surgery and hormone therapy so that they identify as a complete other gender. And that's not something to be taken lightly. So if you say, oh, I'm trans, but you're not actively seeking to transition into another gender, then you're not doing a good service to these people, especially when you are very loudmouthy and pointing fingers at people, the cis that and the hetero this, and even, honestly mocking like cis gay men or cis gay women. I mean, this has got to stop. So being a bit more long-winded than I wanted to be on this, but trans-trenders, and nobody's going to say that I'm a trans-trender, but nobody identifies as a transgender, right? That's the only term that you don't want to adopt, and that you don't want to, you don't want that mantle on top of you, do you? But I'll say trans-trenders, you need to maybe indulge yourself in a little bit of self-analysis, figure out what you're doing, why you're doing it, and maybe adjust yourself properly, It's okay. Whatever you are is okay. Let's just be honest about it. Let's be genuine about it. And let's make sure that our motives are pure and good. And I'm not sure that a lot of people really have good and pure and honest motives. So again, feel free to hate me for saying this. I don't really care. I'm just offering my 2 cents. So I would say this is the first of probably 3 videos I'm going to do on the subject. And this one's probably going to be entitled Message to Transgenders, or Transgenders Fuck Off, or something like that. Again, I probably won't get much more controversial than this. But if I do, oh boy, watch out, right? Anyway, see ya.